Hey, before you start listening to this episode, listen to me. We had a huge technical problem. Uh, Something happened to Gert's mic. She sounds like she's trapped in Jake Spider Monkey's basement. I tried to fix it as much as I could, but it was busted audio. It's busted audio. But we'd rather put this out now than have to re-record and wait another extra day because we're really running down on the wire on this. So apologies. It is a little difficult to listen to, so my feelings won't be hurt if you skip out on this episode. But here it is. Thank you so much.
I used to listen to good podcasts and everything was fine, but now I listen to this podcast because I've lost my mind. My gym partner is a podcast. My gym partner is a podcast. Yeah!
Bullshit, Porkman, I don't know what. Doing this podcast is a pain in the...
you thought this was gonna be a good podcast today.
Why are you already putting us down? We haven't even started yet, and you're already being...
Oh, God. These episodes weren't kind to us.
I felt myself go through 20 different emotions multiple times.
I felt myself drift away into a different world. The world of egg and clone. I don't even know if we can, talk about them.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of implications.
There are not a lot of implications. But first, can I just take a moment to discuss something that I feel like we have been neglecting?
Mm-hmm.
So,
sure.
In the first shot of the show, and when I say show, I mean in the first shot of the theme song to My Gym Partner's a Monkey, it's Adam sitting in a classroom with other human students. You know, he's at his old school, where everything was the same.
Yeah, of course.
And on the back wall of the classroom, there's a poster. And there's a bunch of writing on it. It's illegible, whatever. But you can read the title of the paper, and it says in bold, "Human Rights."
Which, at first, I just, kind of thought of it as, oh yeah, the Bill of Rights. It's probably like a civics class or something. But human rights, it lays out specifically human rights in an animal school. I mean, in a human school. It's like in a world where there are animal schools, and that's the implications there are startling for sure.
What are you all talking about?
In the first shot of the show, the theme song, in Adam's human classroom, there's a poster on the wall that says human rights, which implies that there's a difference between human rights and animal rights in this world.
Oh my god. I mean, sorry for asking y'all to, let me in on this. I should have just saw this, from the start. I didn't notice that.
And when it gets into the animal school, there are animal rights separate from those human rights, which...
Whoa. That does bring up a lot from our podcast-long sort of chronology of the sort of, I guess, society, the implications.
The human-animal society and the interactions therein. And there's more about that gets lightly touched upon in these two episodes that I think kind of says a lot.
I think especially the second episode, and just from the context that we've had from past episodes, the things that Jake is able to have access to, it really is telling us a lot about this world and where they're at both morally and technologically.
Well, let's get into it then. Our first episode today is called Ain't Too Proud to Egg. And, oh boy. So...
Can anyone tell me what this is?
Yeah, Mr. Hornbill's here, and he's holding up a little egg, and he's like, what is this, everybody?
It's a constant reminder of why we should stay in school.
That's what Slip says.
It's like the only one that I wrote down because it just seemed the most important.
Jake's, like, oh, it looks like an egg to me. And one student's like, lunch?
Yeah. That's a good animal joke.
But no, it's one of those, like, fake parent baby situations, sack of flour, care for the egg. I never did this in school. I'm pretty sure this is made up completely and never happens in real life ever.
I'm pretty sure it's just a trope in TV shows to have like a flour sack thing.
The only thing similar to this that I've done is try and like protect an egg and throwing it off a building.
Oh yeah,
it's like a science experiment.
Yeah, it wasn't like like it's your moral responsibility to be a caregiver, to be a responsible role model, to care for your young. We're preparing you.
Everyone gets paired off. Lupe gets paired with Slips, and Slips makes a remark about that.
Alright, Foxy Mama.
Alright, and it's just like, hey, fucking step off.
Oh yeah. Yo, no, she says, yo, step off, dude.
And he's just like, oh.
Which is, Slips, you okay, buddy?
What's going on there?
He's like, maybe I did step out of
He's like, maybe I stepped out of line there, maybe I made her uncomfortable. That wasn't cool of me. I very much apologize, Lupe. That's something Slips would say.
Yeah, Slips was, like, they didn't show it to us, but Slips did apologize off camera and was really like, he wasn't trying to play the victim. He was being very genuine.
It was very touching. Ingrid gets paired with Windsor. She responds by going... she goes...
Which I wanted to remark upon that. Lately, Ingrid's character in these episodes has just been girl who giggles slightly at, like, any, like, implication of infatuation with another male character. That's it.
Yeah, she's boy crazy.
She's a little boy crazy, and... it feels like this is, like a recent development. Like, it's just kind of been gradually getting more and more her character. I guess because she didn't really have a character to begin with.
Are you saying Ingrid didn't have a rich tapestry
Maybe,
of a character arc?
Maybe not the richest tapestry. I mean, like, I'll be honest, like, it's, maybe I'm being a little too hard. Like, it is pretty good to have a character there to be like, oh yeah, Adam Line is doing this.
It just feels like this came about as an evolution from her being written as infatuated with Adam during the prom episode, and just that sort of idea slightly just de-evolving and entropying into, well, I guess she just giggles at any boy, because, what else can we have her just say in these random instances?
That's all fucking girls are good for anyway, right?
Alright, okay. Alright, let's not move off with that.
I'm sorry.
So, by default, Adam is paired up with Jake, to which Jake says, dibs on mom!
And I'm very, fucking good on you, Jake. I'm so happy that Jake gets to be a mother.
Yeah, Jake's, but Adam and Jake are having a conversation, and Adam's like, this is you gotta teach you responsibility and all that.
I don't want to have to do all the work again.
Yeah, and then Jake starts his running
this
gag.
This is not what I call responsible.
or dependable, or reliable, or accountable.
Or mature. So he starts like listing off what he's not, which it's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny at first, and like the first repetition of it again, like immediately afterwards. But then it's just all right. We get it. You know, kids show, gotta repeat the joke 5 times in an episode, like in Fairly Odd Parents, just repeating the same joke because it's funny.
I'll say it.
You hear that, Butch Hartman? You hear that, bitch Fartman?
Yeah, bitch Fartman, you hear that?
Just like my gym partner's a monkey.
Hey,
how does that make you
hey,
feel?
bitch Fartman,
But
listen
worse.
to our podcast, and hey, you're invited, bitch Fartman.
We're gonna fuck you up.
Okay, come to the podcast, bitch Fartman. You get a nice talking to.
So that's the running joke
Yeah,
of this episode.
Yeah, that's gonna be our running joke for this podcast episode.
After the reliable montage, Jake immediately has lost the egg, but they don't. Adam remarks upon it, but they just shift to the next scene where they have it again. It's weird.
Yeah, like you think that he's like, where'd the egg go? So you think, oh, so the episode's gonna be them trying to find the egg, but then they just have it in the next scene. So they like found it, I guess.
This episode had a weird slice of life feeling to it.
It's
Slice of life.
I don't know if I describe it as that, but it has a very weird pacing. I mean, a lot like other My Gym Partner's a Monkey episodes, but this one especially so. It just feels like it drags on in some parts, and then it's suddenly over.
Yeah, when they're in the lunchroom, they like are in the like lunch line, which oh, you Adam, not bringing this fucking lunch again, and he.
What? But wait. He did bring his lunch the last episode. We failed to
That's
remark
what the sack
upon
was.
this.
The sad sack.
Maybe he keeps like trying to give Mud a chance, like any reasonable
He's like, maybe I'll like
person.
it this time.
Maybe I'll become stronger. Maybe I'll be more adept at surviving this harsh school environment if I just eat the mud.
They see Slips. He's like under a little lamp, and he's curled up with the egg. It's so cute.
It's really cute. When I saw that, I just like had this feeling of, oh, look at him.
Yeah, Slip's gonna be a good dad.
He'll be a good daddy.
But he's also in the tray along with the other foods, and is also in the tray labeled snake eggs. So I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I mean, did he write that? I guess.
Was that just a menu option? Do they eat snake eggs?
I hope
I
not.
hope not. I mean, I guess mongooses gotta eat, but jeez.
Lupe is upset with this. She's like, well, I want our baby to be in a nest.
Oh, fucking twigs, huh? Fucking
Yes.
sticks.
This is just like,
What are you? A wizard? A genius?
God.
Windsor is trying to put baby egg Windsor Jr.
on Ingrid's back to
Yes.
like because he states that infant gorillas during the first 8 weeks of their life instinctively cling onto the back of their mothers to free their hands. And he's
Is that
like,
true?
That's
Yeah, Animal Facts with Renee, check it out.
Animal Facts with Renee!
infants are in almost constant contact with their mothers for the first 6 months and nurse for about 2.5 to 3 years.
Whoa. Baby, long time.
Wait, did you say the fact? I wasn't listening.
Alright. They usually begin playing, smiling, and bouncing at 8 winks.
Bouncing?
Winks.
Weeks. So that at about 9 weeks they begin crawling. So during those 8 weeks is when they climb onto their mother's back.
Ah. Bravo, my gym partner's a monkey.
Wow,
no.
you seem to have gotten your facts pretty straight.
No, wait, hold on. They are able to stand at 20 weeks, and at 34 weeks they're usually walking and traveling short distances from mothers. At around 6 to 7 months of age, the infants are able to climb on their mothers' backs and ride. So, I guess they're wrong, technically.
Boo, my gym partner's a monkey. You got it wrong again. Step it the fuck up. Come on.
What is
These
wrong with you?
animal facts are important. The egg keeps sliding down Ingrid's back because she has a long neck.
She has just a long sloping incline, and Windsor is adamant in teaching this egg to cling, and Ingrid's just like, why don't you just put him in my backpack?
I am not going to raise Junior. Windsor Junior, he calls this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna raise Windsor Jr. to be some marsupial wannabe. He's going to learn how to cling onto his mother's back, and he's gonna like it.
Oh God! I've
Oh, no.
become my father.
So Windsor has some issues, I think.
Yeah, look, this is what I've been saying. There's some genuine character to Windsor Gorilla.
Windsor was an interesting character in this episode because he like took on the role of father pretty willingly, but he became strict with his son and then realized the errors of his way, and he was terrified of becoming like his father.
He was very fast to change, and that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Adaptable.
He's adaptable. He's multifaceted as a character, and I think, we should be respecting him a little bit more.
Well, let's not go that far.
Yeah,
We don't need to do that.
We don't have to respect him. I mean, like, just because you're a good dad, like, doesn't
like so what?
yeah, like, whatever. Like, anybody can be a good dad.
Ingrid seems horrified that Adam has left the egg with Jake. Adam says, "Oh, I think it'll be good for him to, learn some responsibility." And to which Jake immediately tries to eat it.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. It's good for his diet.
Digestive.
Fuck off, God.
But I
So
like
he's
the
like-
way he just is immediately putting salt on the egg and just opens his maw.
Yeah,
He's gonna eat it whole.
it's really scary. Just this imagery of Jake Spider Monkey wanting to just swallow an egg.
Okay, I want just real quick, everybody put a pin in that situation, in the situation of Jake wanting to eat that egg and seeing no problem. Just put a pin in that. We're gonna touch upon that later.
Okay.
I'm putting it in. I'm poking it through the fabric of the story. It's there.
All
Okay,
right.
is everyone's pins in place?
Alright. You got something in mind for this pin?
Yes, I got something in mind for the pin, so use your best pin. Alright, so after the fact, Jake does this whole, it's not what you call responsible.
Dependable.
Or
reliable. And the egg hatches.
Yes, the egg hatches. Jake immediately, it's a little bird. It's a little red bird. Jake immediately is overcome with parental instinct and puts on a little heart-shaped apron and, hair curlers and is just a mom now. And says, "Who's ready to be a daddy?" to Adam.
Daddy! Who's my daddy?
Who's my daddy?
Yeah.
Woohoo.
I love the bird in this episode. I mean, aside from general baby antics, I think the baby bird is very funny in this episode because of her voice.
Isn't it just Tom Kenny?
Probably.
We'll have to see.
So it cuts to Mr. Hornbill's class, and he's laughing. He's like, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo." And he
So
laughs.
you're telling me you didn't expect the egg to hatch? I
So-
hate his fucking laugh.
So This is another one of those situations where the animal school does it different than the human school.
Uh-oh.
It's been a while since we got that.
Here's the thing. That means that everybody but Adam was fully aware that the egg was going to hatch into a baby bird. Including Jake. Remember the pin? Jake knew that there was a bird in that egg. And he decided that his hunger was more important than a life.
Well, no, he just forgot that it was the egg.
He was gonna eat a... No, you know he's a sociopath.
No. Listen, in defense of Jake,
No,
he did
not in
say...
defense of Jake.
No,
Jake.
he said, and I quote, I knew that egg looked familiar, but he didn't recognize it as the bird egg.
Everything Jake Spider Monkey says. He says whatever he wants to manipulate you. He got caught in the act, and he thought of a lie as quick as he could. But he's a monster, and he was gonna eat that bird. He was about to hatch, too.
God, you're really... Man, it's the focus has really shifted here, huh?
Listen, I'm not crazy, okay?
I'm not.
He was going to eat a bird. Write in the comments, did he know that this was going to happen? Did he totally know what that egg was and was going to eat it anyway? Or did he really forget? Did he... You know the right answer.
Anyway, Jake has fully embraced motherhood, as Adam is, like, confused, kind of upset that he didn't know he was going to be saddled with an actual baby. Everyone else has their own, like, babies. You see Bull looking at his little yellow bird. Looks so tiny. Henry's wiggling a little rattle in front of his baby bird with glasses. That's adorable.
God.
That's a word to describe that.
Adorable, huh?
What? The baby bird is adorable.
Yeah.
Just as Little Apple is.
You
That's
didn't...
the name of Jake and Adam's bundle of joy.
It didn't seem like you were talking about the bird, though. It seemed like you were talking about the interaction that Henry...
What, you have a problem with that?
Bird.
You have a problem with genuine parental care on the part of Henry Armadillo? I gotta be on the defensive today, huh?
You gotta watch out. So, Little Apple.
Yeah, Little Apple starts vomiting on Adam. It's terrible.
Well, Jake saddles onto Adam all these responsibilities of Apple's care. Like, she's got cheerleading practice at this time. She's got piano class. She's got soccer.
Jake, you couldn't have possibly done this.
Couldn't have possibly organized all of these things.
There's no way.
Windsor is like pinching his little Windsor Jr.'s little tail feathers and being like, "Who's a cutie patootie?" It was very weird.
There's a little cutie Woody. Who's a little cutie Woody?
You are.
Yes, you are.
He said it in a very reserved and like sort of like quiet way. It was.
Who's a little cutie patootie?
You are.
He's being a very caring father here, unlike somebody.
Yeah, Adam is really not ready to embrace fatherhood.
Adam can't.
He's like, I didn't know we were gonna get actual children. Like, he's like really freaking out about it.
I'm just a kid.
You know, Jake is feeding Little Apple a bottle and is like, "Who likes her juicy?"
So everybody seems very nonchalant about the child rearing here. Adam is not. I mean, I'll be honest. Let me little opinion corner here. I think Adam's being a little bit of a dick here.
What do you mean? He got saddled with parenthood.
I mean, yeah, but he's right to be like, this is a lot of responsibility, but he doesn't do anything to sort of help out. Jake is kind of just taking all the brunt of this project, and keep in mind, this is a project.
You're not even wrong. Like, Adam was at the beginning of the episode talking about, like, lately you out of work. And it's like, you aren't. Jake's doing all the work on this one. Like, how are we supposed to believe anything that you say, Adam Lyon, when the words that...
You know what? You're right. Adam's being a little bitch. Go, I don't want to be a dad. Well, you know what? You have a child. And you just
you have a child. You should have thought about that before you had a child with Jake Spider Monkey.
When Jake is, like, berating Adam for not taking responsibility, I felt like a chill run down my spine, and then it was when I realized that this has happened before in a little show. It's kind of obscure. Don't know if you've heard of it. SpongeBob SquarePants. This is the second time that Tom Kenny has played a character who has had the role of motherhood thrust upon them and is felt overwhelmed due to an unsupportive husband character.
This is fucked up.
I didn't even realize that, but jeez.
What?
The SpongeBob comparisons are they're just piling up, huh?
They're really, like, taking some SpongeBob, like... maybe SpongeBob has sort of, like, set itself for this type of cartoon. It's sort of like a holy book. Like, something to be looked at and be like, alright, this is where we get the structure of our television program. This is where we get the structure for the episodes from.
And then we make it not funny. Well, here's the thing about it. Let me just break this down why I think it's not as funny as it had the potential for being. Because this is a funny situation, I think. I kind of see it as, like, let's just look, for example, on why the SpongeBob one works so well. The SpongeBob one works so well is because Patrick and SpongeBob both take the idea of being parents, like, very seriously, to the point where they start to, like, become their roles almost fully. Like, Patrick is, not responsible, but he's still, like, pretending to be, like, the dad character. Like, he's going to quote-unquote work, and he's, like, coming home and watching TV, and he's
being a bad dad, but he is being a dad.
Like, he's in the role. He's playing in the space, if that makes sense. Whereas, like, in My Gym Partner's a Monkey, it's Jake is fully in his character of the mom, and Adam is not necessarily irresponsible dad character. He's literally doing the, like, number one taboo of improv, where Jake is feeding him lines, and Adam responds, no, like, over and over again. He is, like, not even willing to, like, play around or, like, joke around or, like, be engaged in the, like, roles they've been, like, given. He's still Adam, and he's just going, no, I hate this, no, I don't want to do this, I'm not playing along.
I'm starting to remember why I wanted to do this podcast.
Why's that?
Adam Lyon, and this is a really important thing I think I'm about to say, is hands down, I think, one of the most boring to watch cartoon characters I've ever seen in any cartoon. He is the most boring cartoon character to observe out of, I think, any cartoon character.
It's true, because he's in these wacky scenarios, and in the best episodes of this show are when he's, like, really going along with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When he's, like, part of the gang, where he and Jake are, like, playing off each other well.
But here, I wanted to address as well. He doesn't feel a part of this episode even. It feels like the episode is happening around him, where everyone's engaging in the baby trope and whatever. But he's just not being a part of it at all. He's not engaging with it, and it's not like there's any consequences to this either. Because that's an aspect of comedy that you need. You need the setup and then the punchline, the falling action, the consequences. But nothing comes out of this. Nothing comes out of Adam really not wanting to be a father here or being part of the project. Because in the classroom setting, in Mr. Hornbill's class, where he's saying, that's it, Mr. Hornbill, I've had enough. When he hasn't really done anything with the child aside from getting thrown up on. That's it. That's the only interaction, really. And what do we get? You'd think at this point, maybe this is where the actual plot happens, where Adam does something. But no, this is when they give him back. He's just like, oh, you thought you were going to keep the birds?
So to summarize the end real quick here is that they say they're taking the birds back. It's just a way for the school to make a little money, of which Principal Pixie Frog immediately takes.
Cheap student labor.
Yeah, cheap student labor that, they're all reminiscing about their babies. And then the punchline at the end is that Jake actually forgot to bring the parrot back to the zoo, blah, blah, blah. So there's
Adam gets thrown up on again.
Yeah, Adam gets thrown up on again. So there's no moment where Adam, because everyone in the episode is telling Adam, you're a bad dad, you need to take responsibility. There is no moment in this episode where Adam goes, you know what? Yeah, I am going to take responsibility. Or like they could have done something where little Apple is in peril, and Adam realizes he cares about the baby. But it's not until the very end there's a little throwaway line where he's like, I think I'm going to go visit the zoo because that little Apple, she warmed up on me. I kind of want to see her again. That's the only time he has expressed any attachment to the little bird.
He had no interest until the very end.
And that's where me talking about the pacing kind of plays in. It plays up expectations, Oh, you think there's gonna be some wacky antics with the baby Apple, and she throws up on Adam once. And says some funny things. I think the things that Apple says are funny, but Adam just feels divorced from the narrative here. I don't know if that's
why this episode was a stinker, in my opinion.
This episode was just it didn't really have a beginning, middle, or end. It just all happened in one solid line, and then it was just.
I think you cut out there a little bit.
I was whispering.
I can't hear you when you whisper.
It wasn't anything. It just wasn't anything.
Well, let's move on to the next episode.
The Two Jakes! Wow!
The Terrible Tale of the Two Monkeys by R.L. Stein.
Okay, we went in two different directions there.
The awful paw of the devil ape.
By R.L.
By S.
The terrible tale of the two bad old men.
The Two Jakes. This is an episode called The Two Jakes. And my God, it's finally
You're not
here.
ready for this one. You're absolutely not ready for this one.
Yeah, the last episode, I mean, even if you hadn't watched the last episode, you're not ready for it, because I think the episode that we watched before, makes it even more unexpected.
Well, you get, your animal school plot episode, boring, whatever, and then this is another one of those robot arm episodes.
It's another one of those, yeah, where it has terrifying cyberpunk. What the fuck do you call this?
So Adam is
Trans-animalism?
Trans-animalism, yeah. Just this
transhumanism.
Yeah. Who wants to talk?
We need to get going. Adam is going to school. He's got a big backpack. He feels overwhelmed. I wrote down, because he falls over and he starts, his backpack's too big, he can't get up, and I wrote, oh, Adam turtles himself, and before I finished writing, a literal turtle walked by and was been there, done that.
It's you really No subtext allowed, and allowed, and mention partner's a monkey.
Well, I mean, you gotta put in the animal gag there. If
But
you don't
what-
put the animal in the gag, then it's just an animalist gag.
You telling me Adam Lime falls on his back and a turtle doesn't show up? What the fuck is that? No, write that in. We're putting in a fucking. Hey! Get back in this writer's room. You're not done in here.
Where's the turtle? Write the turtle in. I need more turtle. Jake opens up his locker because we cut to Jake. He's looking at himself in his locker mirror, and he's like, handsome boy.
And he runs his tongue through his nose like a freak.
He's gross for a little bit. Adam shows up, overwhelmed by his everything, his books, his...
Ambulating like a sea turtle that just got beached.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this honestly, this beginning bit of this episode is pretty level. It's pretty grounded, because I remember in middle school, early high school especially, having just a big old backpack with so much stuff in it.
I remember that too.
It hurt.
Why did we need so much bullshit in high school?
You just did. You needed to carry around like 3 textbooks for your 3 periods that day and whatnot. And just, jeez.
Yeah,
alright.
You know what I think is kind of, to continue going on that high school backpack thing, I think the last 2 years of high school, I don't think I ever used my locker. I'd
Really?
never opened it, once.
I don't think I did either.
They gave me a locker, but, I didn't use it. Oh. Anyway.
Principal Pixie Frog comes on the announcement thing after Adam explains to Jake his incredibly busy schedule. He's got, a fundraiser. He's got a triathlon. What was it called? Something like that.
Trashathon, where
Yeah.
Recycling.
And
He's got a lot on his plate. Cut to a picture of Adam holding a bunch of supplies on both plates in his hand.
Get it?
Adam really seems to enjoy interacting with his I guess his community.
Well, apparently a lot of it's required, because when Principal Pixie Frog comes on the announcements whatever thing, he's like, you have to do this test on Saturday. It's standardized. It's required. Also, everyone's required to go to the trashathon and blah blah blah. And Adam is so oh, I can't. It's on the same day as my fish language test, which apparently is required.
Fish language.
Fish as a language.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, Jake, how do you even keep up with it? And I'm going to put this delicately. This is the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, you get sucker punched by this.
Yes, it comes out of absolutely nowhere. And I think I remember this episode. I don't think I remembered it enough, though, because Jake, he's still at his locker. And he's like, I just do whatever. And then seamlessly, the mirror Jake's reflection in the mirror, walks out of the mirror.
I was not prepared for that! It was so fucked up that happened.
It's such a smooth, just walk out of the mirror situation.
It's just I don't know, and then it's just it just comes out whoosh.
I literally gasped out.
I didn't know what to do with that. How the fuck are you supposed to see that and not just lose your shit?
It's incredibly
and
funny.
It's just surprising, honestly. You start out with something that relatable to your middle school experience. You're a kid, right, watching this, and you start out with something relatable to your middle school experience of having to have a lot of supplies and stuff, having to do these so many extracurriculars that are mandatory, and having to go on the weekends to do some standardized testing.
Yeah.
Principal Pixie Frog says.
Hey, Principal Pixie Frog, are you allowed to do that? Is that something the school system is allowed to do? Are they allowed to just make you mandatorily take standardized tests over the weekend? Because that sounds like bullshit to me.
It
Well,
does sound like bullshit.
But, you know, it's just to exaggerate.
Maybe that's,
just the,
maybe
the-
that's some
the-
animal
the-
rights stuff there.
Maybe. But it's to exaggerate the woes that a middle schooler would feel. And you're just like, yeah, this is going to be a regular episode. And then Mirror Jake comes out like a creepypasta.
And then it turns into us.
Like a creepypasta.
I was looking in the mirror, and the Jake Spider Monkey walked out of it.
God, could you imagine that happening to you? You late at night, you're just looking in the mirror, just looking, you know, like brushing your teeth, and then like Jake Spider Monkey comes out of it. He just strolls out, and he scares you.
Hyper-realistic Jake Spider
A hyper-realistic Jake Spider Monkey comes out of the TV and smiles at me.
So we haven't even gone into the actual
Right.
like theme of this episode. So that Mirror Jake is a clone.
Yes, and don't tell Principal Pixie Frog because clones are against the rules. What?
Oh, yeah.
There are rules against clones. It's established throughout this episode that clones are a thing, that there are that people know about, that there are facilities for clones. There's a clone orphanage.
There's a clone like old home, you know, retirement home kind of thing, assisted living. There's like lore about the clones that like everybody knows.
It's like
But we only get peeks of it. It's only so subtly interwoven into the narrative. We can't hope to know the bigger picture, the abuses of ethics that have gone on in this world, the level of technology we're at. I like you said earlier, we really do get a sense of the level of technology and just ethics we are at this world.
I shudder to think about what atrocities happen in the My Gym Partners and Monkey world.
I shudder to imagine who is this guy that Jake knows that's able to do this animal experimentation and cloning and surgery just at his behest, at his call.
It might not even be the same guy. That's the scariest thing.
He just knows a guy. It could be multiple guys.
It could be a lot of guys.
But anyway,
Then he
Jake
pulls
is
out
very
a unit.
he pulls out just a blank staring Adam lion out of his locker, and it's like, oh, I guess you'll be sending this boy to the clone orphanage then.
Yeah, fuck! The clone orphanage? Like...
He's like, Jake, you cloned me!
Jake, you cloned me? How could you? What the fuck?
And he's like, yeah, yeah, well, why not? I just took a couple of hairs from you.
Like,
and
without your consent, I cloned you. Like, I don't see what the big deal is. You're being just so... You're
Difficult.
You're being so difficult, Jake. God.
And for some reason, Adam is really worried about his bald spot. You get a close and zoom in shot of Adam's hair, and he has a noticeable bald spot. And it's like, oh no, that was you? I thought it was going bald.
And then he's just like, I only took a couple of hairs. It's like, oh, so I guess Adam is going bald.
I mean, with the stress of the school, I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
But this clone of Adam, as it goes on, he starts copying Adam in a mocking tone. It looks like he's slowly learning speech as he's being introduced to Adam. Like,
He's
like he was just
absorbing knowledge.
he was just like a brainless dummy in Jake's locker, waiting for Adam, the original Adam Lyons input. And like as this is going over, he's slowly developing Adam Lyons' personality, but he's only the jerkish part, because now this clone, a unit, is just purposefully making fun of Adam Lyon. Even Adam's like, my clone is a jerk.
He's like, my clone's a jackass. What the hell? Like, the clone sucks.
The-
But
I'm a dumb idiot. You're a stupid fucking idiot.
and Jake's like, no, let our clones go off. Let's take a nap in our lockers. And he quickly
They hide away in their locker,
Yeah.
while the Principal Pixie Frog passes by the clone, and the clone just blows a raspberry at him, and he's like, "Cute lion, that'll give you a month in detention. Now get back to class."
And Adam's like, oh no, not a month of detention. But Jake's like, don't worry, our clones are gonna serve that. Don't even worry. I'm looking at my notes. I accidentally wrote, Pixie Frog gives his clown detention, which is the same thing, I think. And so Jake says, grab a pillow and be somebody, take a nap, chill out. And they go to their lockers and they kind of talk to each other through the holes for a bit about like, this is kind of boring. Let's go see what the clones are doing.
Jake is wearing a
I'd
funny... Huh?
He's wearing a sleeping gown.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I was
pretty
going to
funny.
talk about. I like his
But
little pointy hat.
Yeah, but I do like this interaction because it's some of their best little back and forths where they're just joking. Well, they're just going on about how they can't have fun with their clones because they can't go back home to play video games or whatever. And Jake's just saying, "Oh, true, so true, true." And I like this little joke where Adam's like, "Hey, can you use a synonym, Jake?" And he's like, "I'm all out. How about some nutmeg?"
Yeah, it's just a fun little back and forth. So they go to find their clones, and they're in Mr. Hornbill's class, and they just see everybody just cracking up, and they hear Mr. Hornbill be like, "Adam, Jake, put your clothes back on," and they look up horrified to see a naked Jake and a semi-naked Adam because he's still wearing underwear.
Because he can't show Adam Lyons naked.
You can't show Adam Lyons naked. Nobody should want to ever see that.
Unfortunately, we're going to be disappointed later.
Yeah, oh god, I'm just remembering what happens to the clones.
Even so, I hate seeing this naked Jake.
Yeah, I hate it too.
I don't enjoy
He just
it.
looks like a hairy little man, just with his just like nipples showing. It's gross. This is disgusting.
It just looks... Ugh.
And everyone's they're heckling Lupe and Ingrid. I can't imagine being. This is the second time Ingrid has had naked Adam Lyon cling to her neck.
Oh my gosh.
Ingrid...
What a callback to the first episode. Oh my gosh.
It's really something just thinking back, isn't it?
We cut to the lunchroom. Adam and Jake are hiding up in the big lunchroom tree, kind of watching their clones who are still naked and sitting with Windsor and Slips, who are very unamused.
It's at first a shot of Windsor and Slips, and they're presumably talking to Adam and Jake. It's like, oh, you must have nerves of steel to not be embarrassed. But, could you put some clothes on while we're eating?
Yeah, your disgusting bodies are making us sick.
God, I hate looking at you. And then he just, that fucking clone Adam, just with this blank expression on his face, just throws a brownie at Windsor.
Mud Square.
Mud Square, my bad. But they don't eat chocolate in animal school.
No, of course not.
And this just instantaneously starts a food fight. 0 to 100. Jake and Adam are going buck wild. They're riding Principal Pixie Frog's, what
Scooter.
you call it?
It's like
Scooter.
a big scooter.
And
And you know, they break it, and Principal Pixie Frog's furious, and Adam is just like, oh, I never want... The real Adam's like, I never wanted this, I never wanted a clone, and Jake goes, ingrate.
Ingrate. You're such an idiot, Adam Lion.
Then the real Adam and Jake fall from the big tree and lose their clothes, so they get blamed for the mess. And,
whoa, womp womp.
and so now they have to clean it up. Ain't that stinky? Can't believe it.
Oh,
Who could have seen this coming?
Oh, who could have seen this wacky antics come from this wacky show? Am I right?
I just can't believe the wacky antics that we're seeing.
I mean, you know, it's always painful to have to like sit through like these sort of like confusions where, oh no, there's these guys just ruining our reputations with like no holds bar, just outright making us absolutely rejected in society. But it gets somehow worse than you'd imagine.
It gets more strange because as Adam and Jake are like cleaning up the mess, they look up at their clones who are sitting up in the tree just like mocking them, and they're like, hey, do you kind of notice something strange about our clones? Like, clone Adam has like chest hair.
And you get a close up of like the heart-shaped chest hair for some reason.
And you know, clone Jake looks bigger.
Different. And this is the most terrifying thing. If you witness this just on your casual viewing, it's so threatening how clone Jake just stands up. He does this guttural monkey noise as you see his like full like elongated form. It's just like hairier and more rugged, and it looks awful.
It looks like he's like looking at himself, like he's like admiring his evolution.
and he starts to realize, oh, the clones, they're like growing, and I forget who mentions it, that clones grow faster than you know the originals. They like age at a rapid pace.
It's unstable clone genes. Just like in my favorite comic series, Spider-Man's The Clone Saga, Maximum Clonage, where several clones of Spider-Man that's what the little arc is called, Maximum Clonage, where a bunch of clones of Spider-Man attack Spider-Man and Ben Reilly, another clone of Spider-Man. And they all like sort of have this thing where they're rapidly degenerating at a fast rate.
That's scary.
It's scary, and that's kind of what's happening here with Adam and Jake.
And it's not too unsimilar from my favorite video game series, Metal Gear Solid.
The Twin Snakes.
The Twin Snakes, where I got all the bad recessive genes, and brother got all the good ones, and we age. I'm an old man in Metal Gear Solid 4 now. Uh-oh.
Spoilers.
Uh-oh, everybody. He gets old.
But anyway, so then they start to grow even faster, and they come to the realization, oh, they're so rowdy because they're teenagers. We can't control teenagers. They're gonna wreak havoc.
And Jake says something strange. It's just like, we gotta get them back to the lab.
We have to. We have to get them back to the lab.
This is where it makes it feel less like My Gym Partner's a Monkey and more like some sci-fi
Fucking-
YA TV
An
show.
episode of
where-
Martin Mystery over here.
like an episode of Martin Mysteries, like an episode of the live-action Animorph show or something.
We have to get our clones. They have to go back. We have to bring them back.
They need to go back to the lab.
But it's terrifying. Just this larger world of clonage, of
Total clonage.
Clonage. Total
Maximum
clonage.
Sorry,
clonage.
of maximum clonage. And they're like, we have to tell Principal Pixie Frog, even if it gets us in trouble. Like, we can't have this happen. And then, as they're about to leave the lunchroom, who should burst in but Principal Pixie Frog, Nurse Gazelle, and adult Jake and Adam.
They look really freakish.
They look like absolute monsters. They're
You know, I don't understand why Jake has grown so much. He's a spider monkey.
well.
I guess they had to come up with some way to convey that he was now an adult spider monkey, and the only way to do it was through a humorous exaggeration of the human form but monkey.
This only, I've mentioned this time and time again, but this only serves to reinforce my theory that Jake isn't just a spider monkey. He's some amalgamation of simians.
He was made in
grafted.
the lab.
My theory is they chose Spider Monkey because Spider Monkey is the funniest sounding monkey name.
It's true. I think that theory holds up.
Alright, disregarding my theory.
Well, I'm not disregarding you, Renee. I'm just
I'm
giving
not
my
disregarding
own.
Renee. My favorite episode of My Gym Partner's a podcast.
Disregarding Renee.
But you know, the clones are like, they're the clones, and it's like, uh-oh, Principal Pixie Frog's stupid, so he can't tell the difference. And
They capture Adam and Jake in a net, and Nurse Gazelle says, "Back to the clone orphanage with you."
God, just
you can't just keep casually mentioning the clone.
they absolutely do though. They keep casually mentioning the clone orphanage time and time again, and I'm just so
They were having
bewildered.
fun with that. Just mentioning, just having fun referring to this bigger, darker sci-fi world that they inhabit. Just dystopia.
Burst upon us
You know-
suddenly.
You know, I kind of feel like My Gym Partner's a Monkey, like the whatever kind of future that these fucking characters live in is probably the closest thing to the future that we're going to end up having.
Don't say that.
Because
that's so scary.
Think about it. It's not that futuristic, but it is futuristic in ways.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? It's
Like we're not gonna have really drastic changes in the way that a normal town looks like.
yeah.
But we are gonna see there's gonna be cloning. There's gonna be robot arms
There's
just
gonna-
lurking in the dark.
There's gonna be horrifying prosthetics that try and take over your life. There's gonna be all of that
And more.
and more.
It's just like Spider-Man.
So the clones start to kind of rapidly age after they Principal Pixie Frog keeps giving them the benefit of the doubt for why they sound weird or look weird or are obviously adult men. But
Yeah.
but
Wow,
It's
they
like,
look
oh,
fine to
you-
me.
you guys should join the Glee Club. You got great baritone voices. But then
And yeah, they rapidly age, and we get the most shocking My Gym Partner's a Monkey screenshot out of context you can get.
I love the screenshot. It's like an old Adam and Jake standing sadly next
Naked.
to yeah, naked.
Slumped over.
You don't see Adam's underwear in this, so you can only assume that he's naked as well.
What happened to
This
his
is-
underwear? What
I think
happened?
I think why I like the screenshot so much is because when we were like doing concept for this podcast, like we were like when we had like we're making our Discord, I think that like that screenshot was brought up as like a potential like we should make this our icon.
And it isn't.
No, it's not. It's something else. Have
But
we done that episode yet?
No, it's I don't know what. I think that's like a season 3 or 4 episode. I don't even remember.
These things are getting hazier by the day.
things are just kind of. It's all running together.
I feel like I'm losing my mind looking at naked old man Jake Spider Monkey and Adam Lion.
You don't have to keep looking at it. You can stop.
Alright, let's stop then. The Principal Pixie Frog realizes they're the clones. Aha! I knew it all the time. And they're running away, but they're rapidly aging, so they're old men now, and their backs are creaky.
Oh,
so
no.
They can't run away.
Not again.
Yeah,
Not again.
The clones are pretty terrified that they're like aging, and then eventually they're like, "Oh, I guess they really are the clones." Oh, whoopsie.
Whoopsie doodle.
But that doesn't get them out of the accident. Principal Pixie Frog was just gonna let the clones off the hook with a warning. That's what he said, and that's all that was gonna happen. He wasn't gonna like punish them or anything or get them to pay anything. But now that he realizes Adam and Jake are the real guys, he says, "Well, you know, you're gonna have to raise some funds and cough up some moolah. Old clone homes don't come cheap, you know."
And now they bring up the old clone home.
A question. Within like the 5 to 10 minutes supposedly that these clones have been around, they went from like 11 years old to like 80. So how long do they even have to pay for the old clone home?
Well,
like,
I mean,
they're gonna die soon, aren't they? Like they're gonna just wither away?
Presumably, but I Jake had them for an unknown amount of time before. Maybe it's they rapidly age and then you're just old for a very long time if you're a clone.
That makes sense.
Or maybe it depends on how you treat your clones, how you put them in stasis and whatnot, and if you put them in stasis too long, that makes their molecules unstable.
That makes their molecules get all rearranged.
Monkey.
Remember that one, bitch farm?
Oh yeah, that's a running joke.
Yeah, that was your best
Yeah,
one.
fuck you.
Whoa.
Oh god. Can you imagine if Bitch Fartman like
You gonna
got
stop calling him that?
Can you imagine if he got word?
I doubt he's gonna watch this.
Yeah, but imagine if he like did and like he actually felt like, so inclined to respond and be like, "Listen, that's really funny. You're making fun of him. I'm Bitch Fartman. I'm really successful." And it's like, it's okay. I
don't want him to do that, but if he is, that's alright. Oh, the episode ends. They're doing a car wash to raise the funds for these ungrateful clones as they do the gag again where, hey, you missed a spot. And
hit him with sunscreen.
They high five, but their bones are brittle, so they break as they high five. And then we get a credits sequence where they play shuffleboard with Adam and Jake. And there's not much there. It's just a funny shuffleboard sequence.
It's just a strange, quiet little way to end this weird episode.
And that's the two Jakes.
Ba-da-bum-ba-dum-bum.
More like the two brain cells that
Am
I'm
I
left
right?
with after watching this. God!
Well,
There is no God after watching this episode. I'm sorry. I kind of just said that brazenly. But this episode takes you on a wild ride. I remember justly that this was a wild episode. I was excited for this episode. I knew it was wild and wacky. There was a whole clone situation, but I didn't. When you watch it, you're not ready for the toll it takes on you. You're not ready for just the anguish, the implications of this dystopian society where clones exist left and right. There's robot arms that done by dubious surgeons on animals. Animals exist as a underclass to humans.
This world is hell. This world is hell.
This world is hell.
We are but we're here. Oh, like always. We will report every week, more or less, and get this information because the people need to know. So, thank you for joining us. We will now be moving on to our comment/fan art because we actually have quite a lot of fan art to talk about.
Yeah.
Like at least let me count one, like 4 pieces that we need to talk about. But let's do comments first.
Let me just find this fan art that we're talking about.
Don't worry, we'll put it in the voice text so that you can see Gert for your convenience.
Whoa, really?
Yep, just for you.
That's so cool.
But let's do comments first. So I want to read the first comment. Our first comment tonight is from Waddle D Fan, who says, "This was this was very funny. I liked it."
Wow,
Thank you, Waddle D Fan.
Waddle D Fan.
I'm so glad.
I'm really glad you liked it. Waddle Dee is a perfect character. I'm a big Kirby fan. I'm the big Kirby buff here, and I gotta say, when I look at Waddle Dee, I get all warm and fuzzy, and I just think happy thoughts. So you know what, you are doing the Lord's work out there, Waddle Dee fan. Keep at it.
You're doing an A+ job. Keep singing the good work of Waddle Dees everywhere, because they are doing good work.
Yeah, they get no respect around here. No respect. All right, who wants to read the next one?
I'll read this. From Apprentice Joe King, yet again. They write, "The sloppy trough is a commentary on how our capitalist culture focused on convenience encourages excess food waste, as restaurants must have a surplus of everything so that they do not run out of any dish and risk angering their customers. Had the girls not arrived to eat a year's worth of mud squares, they would have been discarded, only for a fresh year's worth of mud squares to be made the next day. The girls are the real heroes in this episode, preventing all the land use and carbon emissions involved in creating the mud squares from going to waste. They are saving the planet." I couldn't agree more, Apprentice Joe King.
You're absolutely
Let's have a round
right.
of applause for the girls. Yeah, fuck capitalism.
Fuck capitalism. You know, we need more respect for these 3 girls, Gretchen, Latanya, Margaret. They need all the love they can.
Is her name actually Gretchen? I never checked on that. We just kind of gave her that name.
I'm pretty sure it's Gretchen.
I think her name is Gretchen. Like, it's gotta be.
Okay, so we'll only read those 2 comments just because we have a lot of fan art. Gert, why don't you talk about our first piece here?
Alright, so our first piece is, I hope I say this right. Galacticus Platycus.
No, it's Gat Splat, but so it's Gattacus Platycus.
Gattacus Platycus, and that's at Gat Splat.
With 2 T's and Splat.
With 2 T's, so it's Gat Splat. And they drew a wonderful little art of us, our my gym partner, a Monkey Sonas, and it appears to be I don't know, is it maybe watercolor, maybe marker? I feel like maybe marker, maybe colored pencil.
It's lovely.
It's really wonderful, and
I want to say I really loved seeing this fan art when I first saw it on Twitter. It gives us such character. It's so nice and warm. I really love this. Thank you, Gatsplat.
Yeah, thank you, Gatsplat. You're a great fan and just an amazing artist. Keep on listening.
and we'll provide.
We'll try. We'll try not to disappoint you.
Whenever I see...
Also, I feel like we already did, because her name isn't Gretchen, it's Joni.
It's Joni.
Joni Ox.
And she's an ox?
Yeah.
I thought she was a yak. Okay. Let's talk
Thanks, my
about-
gym partner's a monkey wiki.
So here we have another piece. It's, speaking of my gym partner's a monkey Sona, at sludge_eater has attached here a picture of their my gym partner's a monkey Sona, and it's a bird. I don't want to say what bird it is because I don't know enough about birds, but it's a lovely bird.
A starling, perhaps? Actually, I don't know. I don't know for sure. Any bird experts out there,
Yeah.
if you can identify this bird. But it's a very lovely goth bird. I enjoy seeing people's my gym partners a monkey sonas. I'm glad we've encouraged this because I had fun making our sonas, and I'm enjoying that people that this is a trend of people making their own little animal selves.
Yeah.
I would go to this animal school.
It's really nice that like everybody's like having fun with it, with like just this idea.
Yeah, so thank you for this lovely drawing. I really love the line art on it. Very lovely. Okay. Renee, do you want to talk about this one?
Yes, let me talk about this. From Chairman Nam, longtime listener. They added us and said, I made everyone's dreams come true. Which, yes, thank you.
Yeah, so we have here a picture of Principal Pixie Frog and Mr. Krabs in a loving embrace.
I feel like it may be our special guest's dream more so than all of us.
Oh yeah, Allie needs to see this immediately.
But it's a really nice, tender look, and I'm glad someone put in the effort for this. It's an underrated ship, and I think
it is an underrated ship.
A lot can be done with this. There's a lot of potential. Thank you so much, Nam.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nam. This is lovely. Our last one. I love this picture so much. Okay, so this is from this is from at Pink Cat Ninja. Okay, so the caption says here, so there was a joke on My Gym Partners a podcast about how someone should draw My Gym Partners the monkey characters in the Rugrats style, and like the horrible monkey paw I am, a single finger curled, and these figures were created. So we have Jake and Adam Rugrats style.
It's been a long time coming. Thank you, Pink Cat Ninja.
Thank you.
Been waiting for this.
It's so just okay. Let me just. The things I love about this picture is that it's so. I didn't even need to read the caption, and I was like, "This is Rugrats. These are Jake and Adam Rugrats.
The thing that
and
really...
monkey's gotta do what a monkey's gotta do."
The thing that really gives the Rugrats impression for me, especially with Jake, is like the little hairs, like on the head.
It's little hairs. I really like Jake's face.
Yeah.
He really looks like one of the babies, but a monkey.
This is very lovely, very funny, just great, good stuff. Everybody,
so much great fan art just lately that we all really appreciate. Yeah. I didn't think we'd be getting so much of this nice fan art just like in an influx like this, but
yeah, this was quite a lot.
But it's really greatly appreciated. It's so nice. Just
our art's hard, and so thank you for taking the time out of your day to draw some really silly stuff, some really pretty stuff, and some really great stuff. Thank you. All right, well, I think that's about it for today, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well,
I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna take it easy. Just
wait a minute. Wait, hold on. You sound different, Gert.
Yeah.
Why are you so tired all of a sudden?
What do you mean?
The real Gert wouldn't just up and say she was tired at the end of the podcast here.
Yeah, you know what she would say? She would say, "I'm sleepy." She wouldn't say what you're saying. You know what? And you know what? You've grown a little bit too.
I mean,
You got a little taller.
yeah, come on, Al. It's me. Come on.
Lucy,
Yeah?
get me security.
Okay, I'll go get the net.
What?
Join
It's
us,
to the clone orphanage with you!
join us next week for Jake's Day Off and Lupe in Love. This has been my Gym Partners podcast. I'm Lucy.
I am definitely Gert.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm the real Renee, and this has been my Gym Partners, a podcast. Get back here. Get back
to the
here.
Clone Orphanage.